Hello YouTube, I'm Pilot Stud and welcome to another top 5 add-on video. But today we're here on X-Plane 11, heavily requested by a lot of you guys, especially my older subscribers, so I thought it's about time I do another add-on video for X-Plane 11. Stay tuned. Hello YouTube, I'm Pilot Stud and welcome back to another beautiful video, and I have to say I am blown away with X-Plane 11. It's nice to have an aircraft that actually works. Now today I'll be going through some unique add-ons I've found. Some of them will be quite common, I imagine, because X-Plane 11 has been out longer than Microsoft Flight Simulator. But let me just say this guys, they aren't going to be the basic ones like the Zebu mod and the better sky colours and all of that, because everyone knows about them. If you're new here, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I do flight training videos, flight sim videos, trip reports and a lot more, so if you love everything about aviation, you've certainly come to the right place. But now let's move on to our first add-on. Now for our first add-on, hopefully you guys know where we are. We're of course flying over the wonderful, beautiful city of Venice. Is it a city? Yeah, I think it is. We got the beautiful main train station down there. We've got some Italian style trains rolling out. They've done an absolutely amazing job with the scenery. We've got boat traffic going down the canals. I mean, look at that. That's absolutely fantastic. I believe we've also got this small airport, although I've yet to find it. They've remodeled the whole of Venice to make it really look perfect, and it paid off. The high level of detail is shown by the train station down there. With the trains and boats running around, it really adds to the life of the city. There we go, I found the airport I was talking about. You can see from above, it looks absolutely beautiful. We've got some old World War I, World War II aircraft down there, it with a pier, and a helicopter on the helipad. Now, I haven't been to Venice in real life before, but I think this is pretty true to life. Of course, I believe we've got the orphos under some parts of the city. You can see over on that island over there, it's not everywhere. And the only negative of this is the turquoise water leaking into the blue water, but I guess that's more X-Plane 11's fault. A perfect way to start my first X-Plane 11 video for almost 6 months. I hope you guys really like this one. Now let's move on. Flying into number 2, we've got Lanzarote Airport here in the Canary Islands. Now, I've actually been to this airport in real life before, and it looks pretty lifelike. The surrounding area, of course, doesn't look too great because it's mountains, and mountains in X-Plane don't seem to work too well unless you've got orphos. However, they've done an amazing job at modelling the buildings. We've got 2 terminals here at Lanzarote, one for domestic Canary Island flights, and then one international one, of course. The Terminal 2 right here is a lot smaller. I remember taxiing past this and looking at this the first time I landed. And hey, to top it off, we've even got an interior in some part of the airport. A lovely feature to have. To be fair, it just makes it look better from the outside, looking through these windows. Looking into the main terminal, it did look like this to some extent, so they've done a good job. FlyX Simulations, I believe the developer was called. They've done a pretty decent job of mapping the interior. I boarded my TUI 737. Here, I believe it was gate 10, but I'm not too sure about that. Overall, Lanzarote Airport, or Arrecife Airport, whatever you like to call it, by FlyX Simulations is certainly one to have. 2 add-ons so far, the Venice City Pack and Lanzarote Airport, 2 of the sceneries today. We're now going to move into 3 different types of aircraft, and that will wrap up the video. Now, coming from Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm used to high quality general aviation aircraft, because let's be honest, in Microsoft Flight Simulator they are pretty good. Well, this one is very, very good, I have to say. Certainly no exception to the Microsoft Flight Simulator rule. It is the Robin DR401. Now, I have looked at this aircraft before, although it was on an older video, so it was horrifically bad. Now, this little general aviation aircraft is incredibly sporty and quite quick for its size, really. I believe this aircraft is made all out of wood, if I'm not mistaken, although I might be wrong on that one. It might be the Robin DR400. Hopping into the cockpit, you can see it's not ported at all. Nothing is made from default X-Plane 11 stuff. My favourite thing about this aircraft would probably be the annunciators up here, such as engine caution. They do have that in the actual aircraft, it looks very good. This has certainly been handcrafted, there is no denying it. Very nice to fly. I believe it comes with a collection of liveries and it looks absolutely beautiful. A very rare aircraft here, mostly used by glider clubs as a winch aircraft, but certainly a fun one to do any cross countries in or just little general aviation hops. But now let's move on to our fourth add-on, which is another aircraft. Now another superb, albeit noisy aircraft we've got today is the Zeon 142, and it's an old one. But as you can see, this add-on is absolutely amazing. The sounds are spot on, I'd imagine, even though I've never seen or really heard of this aircraft before I found it on explain.org. Hopping into the cockpit, you can see we've got a beautiful analog 6-pack. There's not many electronics in here. I believe this aircraft was from Czechoslovakia, but I might not be 100% on that one, so I don't want to offend anyone. Tell me if I'm right or wrong in the comments. One thing I love about this aircraft is the throttles. I mean, you've got two. That's slightly confusing, not too sure why we've got two. But I really like that. I guess that say two people can have control of the throttle as opposed to having one in the middle. But I actually really like how it looks. It's just fun to see two throttles moving in a small aircraft like this. Sounds really good and gets up really quickly as well. The landing gear isn't retractable. As you can see, that looks quite springy, I've got to say. I imagine that's quite bouncy when we're going to land. Superb model quality from the outside. It does look absolutely brilliant and flies like a dream. Really responsive, but not too sensitive where you've got to constantly correct yourself. I do miss having aircraft that fly properly, unlike some in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so maybe that's why it just feels so good. But you guys can fly it for yourself. What do you think of the two aircraft we've seen so far? The Zeon 142 is one you need in your library. Go get it today, guys. Perfect for anyone that likes to fly around in slightly interesting, more unique aircraft. The developer has done an absolutely incredible job. It's not very often we get very good Eastern European aircraft, so it's interesting to have this one. Now let's move on to our final and slightly fun add-on. Now, one of the most important aircraft the aviation industry ever had, due to its significance as the world's first pressurised commercial aircraft and the fact it could fly for quite a long time. Hear the low rumble of these engines. I believe they've actually done a better job of the sounds than they have done. Now, this aircraft is actually a port from X-Plane 10, so it doesn't look great, but it's a lot of fun to fly and actually surprisingly easy to fly. The Lockheed Constellation, very famous around the world because of that free tail fin design and of course 4 engines. Now, hopping into the cockpit, you can see it's not very nice, so we're going to get out of there. But if you want your cockpit to see your instruments, you've got one. We've got some smoke coming out of the engines, you know it's old. And it does get off the ground quite quickly. It flies quite nicely. Not too sure how good the flight model is, but it feels pretty secure, pretty solid. Now, because it's an older aircraft, it does require quite a bit of runway to get off the ground, so be sure you don't try and take it off from a small little airfield, because it probably won't work. Getting off the ground here at Lanzarote, it actually flies quite similar to commercial aircraft of the time, and of course it's got a landing gear that you can retract. I personally was quite surprised by how good this aircraft is to fly. Quite simple, I have to admit. Don't have to put too much input in. I thought it would be quite sensitive because it is an older aircraft, not to mention a X-Plane 10 port, so it can only be so good. However, I was pleasantly surprised. It does a pretty good job. The cockpit isn't too good, but hey, it's a 3D cockpit. You can't expect too much with old X-Plane 10, X-Plane 9 ports. So I've revitalised my X-Plane 11 videos. Did you guys like this one? What add-ons do you recommend for X-Plane 11? I'd love to hear them. If you'd like me to do more X-Plane 11 videos, I'm certainly happy to. Put them in the comments if you would like me to do some more. Thanks to all my captains as always. If you'd like to find out how to become a captain, go onto my Discord, the link is in the description. I'm going to end this video here, guys. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.